How's it going, guys? My name is TJP, and welcome back to another MLB The Show 23 franchise video. Well, what we're going to be doing is a career simulation today. Now, I'm going to be doing a career sim of a 99 overall player who starts off as 99 overall everything, and we're going to be seeing how they do in their career. Can we get somebody to the Hall of Fame? Potentially. I guess we'll find out. But before we get on to that, make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and comment down below some videos. Go to socials, playlist, second channel, main channel, down in the description for the content. Be TJP. And with that being said, let's get on to the gameplay. All right, so I'm already in franchise, and here's our guy. So we're going to be doing a starting pitcher, or pitcher to start off. I mean, I'm going to see if we can get him to two-way status. I don't know if we will be able to. It may not work for, like, creative players, but he is 99 everything. As you can see his attributes right there, looking good, and obviously right here. So you can see he's 99 for every single thing. Now, he's a free agent right now. I think we could just maybe... I don't know if he would sign a contract. I mean, I guess we could theoretically do this, the following, right? What we could do is we have every single team. And what I'll do is, I guess I could just sign him to a contract to start off, right? Pick a random team and then let him just sign. Or we could maybe simulate and see if he gets picked up in free agency. Either one would work. Because I assume he'll eventually just get signed. So I guess what we could do is just simulate and see what happens. We'll advance to the regular season and see if he gets picked up. If he doesn't, then what we'll do is we'll just spin a random wheel and see what happens. So we'll advance to regular season. And is he still a free agent? He is. Okay. So yeah, what I'll do is we'll spin a wheel and we're just going to put him on a random team to start, and yeah, we'll see how his career goes. All right, so we're going to spin the wheel and see what team we're going to be putting Joe Random on, our starting pitcher, and he will be starting his career with the Miami Marlins. All right, cool. All right, so Joe Random is going to be on the Miami Marlins to start off his career. We'll see how he ends up doing. He's only on a one-year deal, so, I mean, he might be moving around a bit in these next few seasons. I mean, I guess theoretically speaking, though, he does have that renewable and arbitration, so maybe he won't be moving around. Maybe he'll be the greatest value deal in the history of all sports. I guess that's a possibility. But with that being said, let's simulate and see what happens in his first season. All right, so end of the first season, Joe Random did get NL Rookie of the Year, so that's good for him. And that would be the only award he ended up getting. Now, did he... I'm curious to see if maybe he actually hit it all, because I did try to make him a two-way player. It looks like currently right now his status is a two-way player. Not quite there. It's only 6-20. But yeah, I mean, he was 12-8 in his rookie season, 2.56 ERA, 214 strikeouts, and 186.2 innings pitched. That's really good to start off. I mean, at the plate, I mean, he only played 32 games, 24 at-bats, 6 hits. He hit 3 homers and 8 RBIs. 250 average, so he didn't really get too many opportunities at the plate, but maybe this upcoming season he'll hit a lot more. We'll take a look and see what happens, but nevertheless, good stuff there from Joe Random in his first season as a player. But yeah, unfortunately the Marlins weren't good enough to make the postseason, so we'll see how they do in the next few seasons. Maybe he'll eventually reach the postseason at some point in his career. Alright, so Joe Random was an All-Star this season. I don't think he was an All-Star last season, if I'm not mistaken. But nevertheless, though, 11-4 so far this season. 2.92 RA. So he's doing pretty solid. 159 strikeouts. In terms of hitting, again, he hasn't been hitting much. He's played 20 games, 8 at-bats, 2 hits. No home runs. I mean, he's supposed to be 99 everything, so I don't know why he's not really getting the opportunity to hit the plate. I'm trying to get him to be a two-way player, but it's just not working. It's almost like, yeah, they keep changing up the order, and I'm just trying to get him to be a like a guy that could be both, but we'll see. Nevertheless, I'm going to simulate the rest of the season. Marlins aren't going to make the postseason, but good stuff there from Joe Random being an All-Star. I mean, I got to say, Joe Random did have a really good second season. I mean, 18-9, 235.2 innings pitched, 2.83 RA, 281 strikeouts. So he had a really good season, really good second year. His WAR is about the same, 5.7 for both seasons. So, I mean, he's doing his thing out there. He's he's been good. He's been really good so far. The question is, can he keep it up? I don't know. I'm hoping that the regression doesn't hit after 10 seasons. He's starting to regress a little bit. He's not everything 99 anymore. But it's fine. We're not gonna edit it every single season. We're just gonna kind of let it play out. Last season the Blue Jays won the World Series. I mean, in case you guys were curious, I don't know who's gonna win it this year. Not that it really matters too much for the sim. But the Marlins again didn't make the postseason. They're just really not really good. So it's gonna be the Dodgers winning the World Series. Cool. All right, so in Joe Random's third season, the Marlins didn't make the playoffs. 13-9 on the year, which is not crazy. 232 innings pitched, 2.72 ERA, which is pretty good. 261 strikeouts. I mean, he's doing really well. I mean, but sometimes he's just not getting enough help on the mound. 6.9 WAR, so that's really good. I mean, he's striking out a lot of people like crazy. He's got great stuff. Hopefully, he can keep it up. I'm trying to get him to be a two-way player. Unfortunately, it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen, but. Nevertheless, I mean, he's still got arbitration a couple seasons, so we'll see what ends up happening with him. I think we'll simulate a few seasons just in his career, and I'll kind of just keep track of if he makes any All-Stars, wins any Gold Gloves, unless he wins an MVP, something important, or if they make the playoffs. But other than that, I mean, we're just going to kind of simulate, because I don't see the Marlins competing without any major changes being made to their roster, so we'll just simulate and see who ends up with the World Series here. Then we'll kind of simulate a couple seasons and see what he ends up doing. I'm hoping he leaves, especially if the Marlins don't really get enough talent as the Braves win. All right, well, Miami's actually in the postseason, so we're going to be following them. I mean, Joe Random, unfortunately, he's just not. I can't seem to get him any at bats, so it looks like he's just not gonna hit. I'm gonna give up on the two-way dream. But nevertheless, I mean, as a pitcher, he had another good season. Didn't win any awards, though. Hasn't won a Cy Young yet, which is kind of crazy to think about. But, I mean, he's still doing really well. He's striking out a lot of guys, and he's trying his best to pitch. So, love to see it. We hope he kind of just keeps it up. And, I mean, he's done well throughout his career so far. And, 5.8 WAR. He's got a 24.1 WAR so far, which is good. Looks like his strikeouts per 9 kind of dipped a bit, but I mean he's still doing great things out there. He's 57-33 through his first 4 seasons, which is nice. So yeah, we'll see if we can keep it up. He was an All-Star this past season, so that's 2 times, and we'll see how he can do in the postseason here. Marlins are in it. I think they were the best team in the NL, if I'm not mistaken. So they're taking on the Cubs, and let's see what ends up happening. Lose the first game, win the second game. So Joe Random in the postseason, not looking good so far. Lose the third game, and are they going to lose here? No, they win. Joe redeems himself. And in this fifth game, they lose. Sandy Alcantara blows it, unfortunately. So, first taste of postseason baseball for Joe Random. I mean, it was okay. Nothing too crazy. But, the Marlins just weren't good enough, unfortunately, to advance. So, all right, not a problem. Let's keep going. Got a couple seasons left in Miami. All right, so Joe Random is going to be earning a Cy Young Award for the season he just had. He also won the MVP. And, Cy Young MVP winner for Mr. Joe Random. 22-6 on the season, and the Marlins did make the postseason, by the way. 1.94 ERA, best season by far so far pitching. 293 strikeouts, pitched 250 innings. This is what I like to see right there. His WAR was at 8.2. He had 10.55 Ks per 9. Excellent season for him. 79-39 in his career start off. I mean, that's pretty insane. I mean, if you could have another season like this in 6 seasons, over 100 wins, or close to it, I mean, that's not too bad. It's could be on the path to being a Hall of Famer if he can keep it up. So, MVP and Cy Young. First of hopefully many for him. We'll see if maybe he can win multiple MVPs, multiple Cy Youngs. Maybe winning multiple MVPs will be a bit tough as a pitcher, but, I mean, Cy Young, though, you should be able to win multiple of those. So, they are in the postseason. We'll see if he can maybe get a championship here to add to his resume. I don't think he'd be a World Series MVP. It's hard to do that as a pitcher, but you never know. So, we'll see how they do here in the postseason, and let's see if they can advance. They do. By the way, Rangers won the World Series last season, in case you guys were curious. They're in the NLCS, taking on the Dodgers, and they are going to beat the Dodgers and go to the World Series here to take on the Guardians, and they will lose the World Series as Joe Random chokes in the postseason. As you can see, his numbers didn't look that good there, and he was awful, unfortunately. And, yeah. Well, that's okay, not a problem. I mean, he got to the World Series at least. Did he get a playoff MVP maybe? Nah, definitely not. I guess they have Ian Happ. Helpful. Shout out to Ian Happ. All right, well, he's got one more season in Miami. We'll see if he decides to stay here or go to a different team. So the Marlins are in the postseason again, and I mean, not a bad year from Joe Random. I mean, it's actually his highest ERA season. 15-5 though is a good record. He's 94-44 through his first 6 seasons of his career. And I mean, he's got a 2.65 career ERA, over 1,500 strikeouts, 1.02 WHIP. He's got 38.1 WAR, which is pretty impressive, and a 10.19 K through 9 for his career, 1.94 walks, 0.88 hit homers. Did they not have hits per 9? I guess no hits per 9. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, he's done pretty solid so far. We'll see if he can maybe find some postseason success. Last season, the Marlins were in the World Series. Can they get back there and maybe win it this time? I mean, I guess we'll find out. Taking on the Braves in the NLDS, and we'll see how they do. Let's see. They are going to win and advance to the NLCS, take on the Padres, and they will lose in 5. As how did Joe do in the postseason? He was decent. It didn't seem like he pitched much, so I don't know if he got hurt or not, but he is going to be a free agent. So we'll see if he decides to stay in Miami or go to a different team as the Padres win the World Series. Okay, so Joe Random, I just accidentally skipped it, but Joe went to the Pirates. Joe Random has signed with the Pirates. I don't know what the contract was for, but let's take a look. But it looks like he went to the Pirates. I don't know why he did, but he did. At least I thought it said he went to the Pirates. Am I dumb? All transactions. Padres. My bad, not Pirates. Padres. Okay, he went to the team that won the World Series. Okay, I thought it was the Pirates. My bad. I accidentally skipped. So he's on the Pirates with Tatis, Shane Bieber, oh my god, Alek Manoah. Okay, I mean, their offensively, they don't have a lot, but wow, okay. Joe Random is on the Pirates. He signed a massive contract. Can I see what the Can I see the transaction? See what it says? Pending, completed, maybe. So does it tell me how much he signed for? 10-year, $350 million contract. So he will be with the Padres for 10 seasons, assuming he doesn't get traded. So that is a huge signing there for them. Okay. Sweet. All right, well, we got another Cy Young winner for Joe Random, his second one of his career. So that's pretty cool. So he is now a 2-time Cy Young winner. To go along with MVP. He did make the All-Star team again, so he's been a 5-time All-Star. He might have been a 6, but I didn't see his rookie season. I'm going to assume he was a 5. Just for, the sake of being. Also, I don't know if he's won a Gold Glove or not. It doesn't look like he has. It would have told me. Either way, another good season for Joe Random. 15-6, 109 wins on his career so far. A 2.54 ERA, 229 strikes. I mean, he's fanning people, man. He's doing excellent stuff. He's got a 43.7 career WAR, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. So what a career so far for Joe Random. He's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer. I would assume he would be, but you never know. Did he get any ABs? He didn't look like he didn't get a single at bat. I don't know why. Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get why they wouldn't play this guy. It's crazy, but I don't know. I digress. Well, the Padres are obviously in the postseason. Maybe he can add a World Series to his name. That'd be awesome. Taking on the Cubs. Let's see what happens here. Win Game 1, Game 2, and lose Game 3, and win Game 4. So, NLCS, take on the Braves. Joe Random loses that game, unfortunately, but they win Game 2, lose Game 3, lose Game 4, win Game 5, win Game 6, and they lose Game 7 in extra innings, right? No, I lied. One of these games had them extra innings. This one? No. Okay. Well, damn. That's unfortunate. One game away from the World Series again. So far, though, no World Series for Mr. Joe Random. I mean, he's still young. He doesn't have the greatest of postseasons either, but Bieber was light. Wow, Bieber was really good. Alec Manoah kind of got the short end of the stick in losses there, but what are you going to do? Yeah, let's just see, keep going. He's going to hit that 10 season mark soon. Again, I guess we don't get to the World Series. I'm probably not going to show you guys anything. Just because we've been kind of stopping every single season. So I'll probably just simulate a couple seasons and see what ends up happening. If he gets to the World Series, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, I'll probably just see you guys like in a few seasons. Alright, so I simulated a few seasons, and quite honestly, like, in case you guys were curious, yeah, we're at that 10 season mark for Joe Random. Honestly, he didn't have that great of a season this year. In the past few seasons, really, he's getting a lot of losses now. I mean, still overall his record's 147-84, which is a good percentage, but I mean, he still has a pretty solid ERA. The past few seasons, 2.95, 2.84, 2.79. He's an all-star, but just not as great as, like, you know, he has been in previous seasons. But 2,400 strikeouts so far throughout his career. I mean, it's pretty good. And again, he's got that 10 MLB service mark, 10-year service. He had a 5.4 WAR this year, 4.4 last, 5.4 this year. So not as great as he's had previously, but he's 59 WAR is pretty good. He's had a good career, obviously. I think this could be the one player that could make the Hall of Fame for us, which would be great. But, you know, he's kind of have to keep it up a little bit more, which I think he will for, you know, a few more seasons. But I do think that regression is going to eventually hit. He does have about 7 more years left on his contract, though I think this season doesn't count. So really it's actually 6. So hopefully he can be maybe productive for another few more seasons before the regression really kicks in. Because you know it will. And, yeah, maybe he'll make the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, they were in the first season that I skipped that you guys didn't see. They got to the NLCS Game 7. Joe Random got the L. Second year, they were in the wild card, lost, and then this season they just didn't make the playoffs, which is kind of embarrassing. But, you know, it is what it is. So hopefully maybe he can bounce back in the next season or two. I'm waiting to get to the World Series. That way you guys can actually just, you know, see if he can win a championship. World Series. He kind of needs that on his resume, you would think. Reds win the World Series. Look at that. GG to them. Alright, so, I simulated a couple seasons. I just want to show you guys the regression is starting to set in here for Joe Random. He's down to an 86. Last year was a 93. This year's an 86. I mean, he has pretty solid seasons. He wasn't an all-star this past year, but yeah, 178 and 100 for his career so far. His strikeouts numbers are really dipping now. From the 200s down to 172 to 113. The ERA is still around the same, I guess. I mean, he's 2.74 for his career. So, I mean, he's still doing pretty solid. He's got 65 complete games, 45 shutouts. He had a 2.8 WAR last year, 2.4 WAR this season. So his WAR's still going up a little bit. But yeah, I feel at some point the regression's going to, you know, again, start kind of settling in. I mean, yeah. We'll see. It's already getting there. Did he get an at-bat? He has yet to have an at-bat since... it's been years since he's been at the plate for some reason. It's ironic because if you look at his MLB, it's like his hitting's not regressing, which is kind of crazy. So maybe he should be a position player. That would be interesting if he became, like, went from pitcher to something else. It'd be kind of cool. But nevertheless, let's take a look here. We're on the postseason. As a wildcard team, I guess we can see if they can maybe advance, I guess, since we're already here. And they will not. Wow, man. Last season, Game 7 NLCS, and they lost in 7. Once again, it looks like Joe Random might not win a World Series. Like, it's getting to that point where, like, are we questioning if he'll ever be a World Series champion? It's getting there. It's getting to that point, because he's going to start regressing a bit. I mean, he still has that contract. He's still going to be an 86, so he'll still be somewhat of a starter. Like, he's the third starter guy, not right now, second or third starter. Didn't do that great in the postseason. Again, the regression's going to kick in. I mean, he still has got 5 years left on a contract, 4 or 5 seasons. So, you know, we'll see how long he's around for. But I feel like at some point he's just going to start whittling away in the minors and then eventually, retire when he's 40, sitting in free agency for like 5 years, which I can't stand when the game does that. Okay, so it looks like he got traded to the White Sox. Okay, didn't realize that, but I guess he got traded to the White Sox. Let's see what the trade was for. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. Roster-related injuries, trades. The White Sox. Do we have them somewhere? So the White Sox where would they have Okay, Joe Random and Rod Wells for Andrew Vaughn. So he's on the White Sox. Okay, so I guess we're going to go there and see how their team's looking. They're pretty good. He is the fourth starter right now, but you can see he is going to about to his 14th season. He's coming off a bad year too, his worst season. He's probably going to end up being he's probably going to be in the minors at some point before his contract ends. So we'll end up seeing let's just see what ends up happening with him. All right, so just to give you guys an FYI, one thing I did do is I made Joe Random a relief pitcher going forward. So it'll be a relief pitcher. However, he was in AAA, but now I don't even know where he is. Did he manage to get traded? I think about it, but let me find him. Did he get traded? He might have actually got traded. Hold on a second. Let me see where he would be. I actually have no idea where he is. Is he on this roster? Joe Random. He's in single A. They sent him down to single A. I made him a relief pitcher. He did cross the 200 win mark. He was 5-1, and then they sent him down. Didn't get to 3,000 strikeouts, but it looks like this is going to be it for him. He might retire in a couple seasons. I mean, he's still got another year on his deal left, but I don't see him really contributing to any more baseball anymore. So, I mean, he's had a solid career, though, I got to say. His last 2 seasons, he had negative WAR there, which is kind of weird because if you sum that up, that is definitely more than 49.6. So did the game glitch? Because he was at a lot higher. I feel like he was at 70 something, right? This is okay, 5.9. That's what? Yeah, no, he was way higher. So I think his WAR got messed up somehow. And that's I guess just his hitting WAR or whatever. Yeah, still no at bats for him. I can't make him a pitcher, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean a hitter. So it is what it is. I mean he's in single A, which is kind of stupid. The White Sox didn't make the postseason. I mean we'll see what ends up happening in his final year here, and maybe he'll decide to retire now, or maybe he decide to retire after his contract expires. Maybe he'll just sit in free agency for a few seasons. Who knows? Either way, I mean he's relatively young. I mean hopefully he can get to maybe the Hall of Fame. I mean he's had a good career. It's just is it enough? I mean, I guess we'll find out. Padres, of course, won the World Series. What a surprise. Team he was on. If he had stayed there his entire duration of the contract, didn't get traded, he would have won a World Series. So, yeah, I think he is starting off at the minor season, Double A. He's going to eventually just regress to the point where he's not even going to be in Double A. He's going to be in Single A. So I think that's pretty much his career. So is it good enough to win to get into the Hall of Fame? I guess we'll see. Because chances are he's probably not going to get called up again, and maybe if he does, it'll be marginal and barely change anything. But yeah, that's it from him pretty much. So I guess we'll just simulate it until he ends up retiring, unless somehow, some way he gets lucky and gets back into the MLB. All right, guys. So Joe finally decided to retire. Simulated a few seasons. He just sat in free agency and didn't get a contract. So he ends his career 203 and 120. Which is a pretty good record, over 3,000 innings pitched. He had a 2.95 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. He had 49.6 WAR, 8.57 K through 9, 2.28 walks through 9, 0.94 homers per 9. Yeah, 2,930 strikeouts is pretty impressive. Walked 781 people. Listen, he had a great career. 203 wins, 120 losses. I mean, we could take a look on Baseball Reference and kind of just see where he stacks up in terms of wins and ERA, and also just a few things like strikeouts. I definitely want to see where he ranks on strikeouts. Unfortunately, gonna get that 3,000 mark. Would have been nice if he would have, but it is what it is. Some pretty good company here. Some active guys include Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, and obviously they're gonna be higher. But yeah, around here, I mean, a couple guys around the 200 win mark that are pretty good. I mean, this could be a Hall of Fame career. I mean, this could be the Hall of Fame career if the game says yes. But yeah, I mean, that's a good amount of wins there. So 203 puts him 110th all time, which is pretty solid. All right, in terms of strikeouts, 2,930 would put him 20th. He's right there with John Smoltz, who's at 3,000, so just short of that. Zach Greinke's there. Clayton Kershaw.
I mean, these are Hall of Fame pitchers right here. You see Cy Young. Yeah, these are Hall of Fame guys. Scherzer's above. All Hall of Famers. All Hall of Famers. So, again, great career. I guess that's all we really need to see. We don't need to see ERA and WHIP. But, yeah, I mean, I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I mean, I hope the game decides to put him in the Hall of Fame. We'll see. Moment of truth. Is he a Hall of Famer? Wow. The game didn't put him in. Really? So, Rookie of the Year, 9-time All-Star, MVP, 2-time Cy Young winner, 200-win club, almost 3,000 strikeout, 2.95 ERA, 49.6 WAR, didn't make the Hall of Fame. That is a little suspect. That's a little suspect. I disagree with that. MLB The Show. So I think he got cucked over. Now, granted, he did not win a World Series, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't even know if he got to. I don't even know if he's been to a World Series either. Ironically, once he got traded from the Padres going on like 4 straight World Series, which is kind of crazy. And they actually made the World Series in this final season they simmed, but they lost to the Angels. Wow. Incredible, man. But good career. Unfortunately, according to MLB The Show, not a Hall of Fame career. I disagree with that. I think he would get voted in. But what do I know? I'm just a guy that plays video games. I guess with that being said, let's go to the full screen close of the video. Okay, so that's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below the video. Go to socials, play the second channel, main channel, down in the description. Click the content, BTJP. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to do this with a, what do you want to call it? Like a position player. We'll see how that maybe ends up working out for us. A 90 overall position player. I don't know when I'll do it, but I will be doing it at some point. So be on the lookout for that video. Should be pretty interesting. But yeah, I think he got screwed over from getting a Hall of Fame. What do you know? What do you think, guys? Let me know down in the comments below. Maybe instead of starting off as an 18-year-old, what if we made them like 22 or 23? That way, when they hit the 10 season mark, they're like 33, and then they kind of regress, and then they're like 37, 38. Maybe that's what it is, and it's just like, oh, they're kind of get blue ball from the league like too early. Maybe that's the case. But regardless, we're gonna head on out for now. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Peace.